Having had a couple of days to think about adding storage above the driver's seat in the Sprinter, I've decided I'm going to go ahead and give it a go. A couple of differences. It's actually, the bulkhead is actually wider behind the driver's seat than the passenger seat, so I won't have to do all this messing around to get this tapered edge in, and hopefully can just put a straight rectangle in. I reckon if I bring the storage back, just straight back there, 90 degrees to the bulkhead, I'll be able to get my hands in to turn on the work lights, the roof lights, and then if I just put a lip, maybe cover that off there, then nothing will fall against these switches. I'll just talk you through the materials I'm going to be using, and then I'll just get on with the build. Moorland wallboard, 3mm vinyl covered. The original lining ply from the Sprinter, 5mm, it's really robust. Some battens. This aluminium, extruded aluminium cornering from the shower, this version. And CT1 glue, very good. Sikflex 512 as always. Super glue. And that's about it. I already know from the passenger side that it needs to be, this shelf needs to be cut 640 long and 450 wide, so that's the starting point. This wallboard is really easy to cut with a jigsaw, but it's always better to cut from the back, then you don't fray the vinyl. When I measured it up in the van, the 450 was too wide, so I had to take it back to 400mm. The 5mm thick plywood from the lining needs to be narrower than the wallboard so that I can get the aluminium strips in either side. I need different lengths of the aluminium. This is the door side, inside, and if you imagine that's the shape of the shelf. So on this side, 55, 550, so 550, and here 595. I use CT1 to glue the 5mm strengthening board to the 3mm wallboard, and then super glue to fasten the aluminium strips to the wallboard. I also cut a thinner piece of wallboard and used that to make a lip so that nothing would fall off as I was driving along on the inside edge of the shelf. I added a batten to strengthen it and again used the CT1 glue. This batten is at the back of the shelf and it's pre-drilled so that I can screw into the bulkhead. So I just wanted to see before I glue everything together finally how much of a lift I need for that lip there to stop things falling into the switches. That's 45 long by 15 high, and I think that's probably enough actually if I strengthen that, and then that'll leave me the option to shove stuff down the front there. So when I was getting this out, it turns out this is just the right size to be able to manoeuvre in that space between the roof, and any bigger and any longer and I wouldn't be able to get it back in, so that needs gluing and strengthening in place and left to cure overnight. And this block needs to go under here so that it'll rest on the Sprinter shelf, and then I'll drill and screw here to hold it in place on the front, and obviously the screws will just go into the bulkhead at the back. And that should be it. To strengthen the plate that protects the switches, I just used another piece of the 3mm thick wallboard and glued it with CT1. I also put a block in to give some more support at the front end. The next day I added a curve to the front so that it was less likely to catch with things being pulled out of the shelf. Everything's been left to cure overnight, so now everything's very solid and in place. Time to fit in the van and Sikaflex. Fitting it in the van was pretty straightforward. Screwed it into the bulkhead, screwed it into the shelf, the Sprinter shelf, hold it in place at the front. Sikaflexed. And with it just being 400 wide now, plenty of space to get to the switches.